This podcast is a production of Queens Public Television in New York City. Visit us on the web at qptv.org.
Although the borough of Queens is recognized today as a home to TV and film production and the industry's local studios, Kaufman Astoria and Silvercup, it's not widely known that the world's borough once also hosted a sprawling movie facility at the dawn of filmmaking that predates both aforementioned studios. Join me as we take a trip back in time to the early days of the silver screen and Hollywood, Queens. I'm Mark Bacino, and welcome to Queens County, USA, presenting diverse stories from the most diverse place on earth. Following in the wake of the first popular motion pictures made in the late 1800s, the early 1900s brought a growing public demand for more and more feature films. As a result, movie theaters nationwide were constructed in droves, and film production companies were forming in numbers as well. The Manhattan-based Mirror Films Incorporated was one such company. Founded in September of 1915 by prominent businessmen of the time, Mirror began raising capital through sales of stock in the burgeoning company. Ultimately, it was reported that Mirror Films raised approximately $500,000 of funding for its new venture. In March of 1916, Mirror Films opened the doors to a new movie production studio in the quiet, unassuming neighborhood of Glendale, Queens. Situated on the site of a former dance pavilion/casino, Mirror Studios contained a large 80 by 130-foot interior main space with a 25-foot high ceiling, accompanied by a surrounding 2 acres of land ideal for shooting outdoor scenes when needed. The first day of production at Mirror Studios was documented by a surviving photo of the occasion featuring Broadway star of the time Nat C. Goodwin and film director Lawrence Marsden on set. In April 1916, looking to further expand their studio's exterior footprint, the Mirror Film Company purchased an additional 9+ acres adjacent to their existing property for the purpose of constructing large outdoor sets. This expansive and well-equipped facility allowed Mirror to produce several feature films over the ensuing years. Some of the movies made during that time include The Marriage Bond, starring Nat Goodwin and Margaret Green, Turned Up, featuring Nat Goodwin and Flora Finch, and A Wall Street Tragedy, directed by Lawrence Marsden and once again starring Broadway actor Goodwin. Despite their prolific output and the general commercial success of movies made by Mirror Films in their first years of operation, the company soon began to show signs of financial distress. Claims that Mirror had run out of operating capital were abundant in the press. Additionally, a high-profile lawsuit heard by the New York State Supreme Court in 1918 and filed against the company by its biggest star, Nat Goodwin, for back wages only further served to add to the rumors of Mirror's insolvency. By 1919, the stories of Mirror's demise proved to be true, and just 4 years after its formation, Mirror Inc. was effectively out of business. During the post-Mirror years, the studio facility found itself in the hands of various movie moguls of the time. In 1923, C.C. Burr, a producer of comedy films, purchased the studio space for his productions, and in May of 1925, producer-director Whitman Bennett in turn bought the studio for $110,000, renaming it the Whitman Bennett Studio. Ultimately, though, the allure of California's production-friendly weather and its booming film industry proved too strong for New York film producers, and the movie business moved west, with the former Mirror Studios soon reverting back to a sporting and entertainment venue. In a surprising full-circle postscript to Glendale, Queens' movie-making history, Broadway Stages, a modern film production company, has opened a newly minted studio facility in the heart of Glendale, boosting the local economy while harkening back to those early days some 100 years ago of Mirror Studios and movie-making in Queens County, USA.
The executive producer for Queens County, USA is Daniel J. Leone. This podcast was produced, written, narrated, recorded, and mixed by Mark Bacino for QPTV. I'm your announcer, John Collins. To learn more about Queens Public Television and our podcasts, visit our website, qptv.org, or follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook at facebook.com/Queens Public Television, and on Twitter and Instagram, we're at QPTV.